What's up, y'all? Welcome to the first episode of 7mm at a mile. Throughout this series of episodes, I'm going to show you what you need to do to build a long-range rifle to consistently hit steel at a mile. We'll get into reloading, we'll get into projectile choice, all of that. But let's start with the basics. We got ourselves a Remington 700 here, chambered in 7mm mag. One of my favorite calibers. I got a Night Force 20 MOA steel base on top here. Just a cheap bipod and a sling right now, but we'll get into all the modifications and everything that we're going to do to make this rifle reliable, accurate, all those types of things. So let's go ahead and get down to it. I'm going to show y'all real quick what optic we're going with, and then I'll show you some of the other parts that we're going to use as well. So here is the optic, the rings, scope caps, and I also picked up some anti-fog lens cleaner, keep it from fogging up if we get on a foggy day or something. But I went with a Vortex Strike Eagle 5-25 by 56. Eventually down the road we might upgrade from here, but for at least 1,000 yards, this scope is going to do us just fine. I'll see if we can walk this out to a mile. We're definitely going to try. But if not, then we're just going to have to get a better scope or something different. But for now, we're going to start with the Strike Eagle. I went with a set of worn 34mm high rings. And I got some Butler Creek flip open caps for the scope. So with that said, let's go ahead and get the scope out of the box and let's take a look at it, go over a couple of the features, and then we'll go ahead and get it mounted. Okay, here's our brand new Strike Eagle. Let's go ahead and open this thing up and see what we got. So when you open it up, it's got a real nice box. It's kind of cool on the inside, got it kind of shown there. These are going right now for about $6.99. I picked this one up at my local gun shop. You'll have your usual Vortex included manuals, and then you'll also have obviously your scope, and it's going to come with your quick change magnification lever. It'll come with a battery for your illumination. It comes with your zero stop ring. Comes with an Allen wrench. And it will also come with, what is that? Oh, that's pretty cool. It comes with this Vortex tool that fits the flathead slot in your turret so that you don't chew it up or anything. It's polymer, so you don't scratch it up. That's really cool. And it'll also come with your sunshade. So this particular scope, it also comes with this kind of bikini cover. So this particular scope is a 5-25 by 56mm. So 5-25 power with a 56mm objective to let a lot of light through. I have some experience with these scopes. A couple buddies at work have them on their hunting rifles that they hunt decent range with, 600, 700, 800 yards. Had really good luck with them. They track really good from what I've been told. I haven't had a chance to actually shoot with it yet. Haven't mounted it or anything yet, but we'll get it all together, and then I'll do a full review on the optic after I've had some time behind it. But this is the stuff that we're going to go with, and that's everything that comes in the box with your scope. So let's go ahead and get down to it, and let's get it mounted up. If you'd like to see a video on how to mount up a scope the right way for long-range precision shooting, go ahead and stop and take a look at my other video. I've posted a link here in the description so you can check that out. But if you're a little more familiar with this, then this will all be pretty basic to you. We got, obviously, the Vortex Strike Eagle 5-25 by 56. We've got a set of Warren Mountain Tech medium height. I originally went with highs, but I went back and got a set of mediums because the highs looked a little bit too high. So I wanted to get the mediums because when mounting a scope, you really want it as low as it can really fit, so you get a good cheek weld and there's less need for a cheek riser. But the other benefit too is having it super close, well, not super close, but closer to your bore center line. You want it to be as low as possible so you get more adjustment out of your scope, that kind of thing. So we've got that mounted up with the Warren rings. I went with a Lone Star Precision bubble level, and I really like these ones because they're CNC machined, but it's also got that flat underneath, and I've shown a video on how to mount these up too as well using a leveling tool so that you don't have to mess with it, play with it, all of that. It gets it nice and straight for you right out of the box. Very important, use a torque wrench, and we will get into that in just a minute. So now that we've got everything mounted up, the first thing we want to do is write down all of our torque values. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that right now. The use of a torque wrench. Why is that important, and why is it important for us to write down our torque values? Well, using a torque wrench allows you to tighten certain screws or fixtures, whatever, to a specific amount of torque. So if you are to loosen it, remove it, or something like that, you're able to retorque it to spec, and it should go back to the same spot. This helps us give some type of consistency. So that's very important, especially with scopes and optics, that kind of thing. So first off, we have the action stock screws. I have those torqued to 45 inch-pounds. That would be about the middle of the playing field, I want to say. Some guys go 35, other guys go up to 65. Why is that? Why is there different values? Well, it depends on if the rifle's been bedded, or if it has an aluminum bedding block, or if it's in a chassis, that kind of thing. So right now I'm at 45 inch-pounds. This stock does have an aluminum bedding block, and it has been epoxy bedded by myself. Again, I have a video on that as well. The link is in the description on where you can see that done on this rifle. Scope ring caps, 18 inch-pounds. It is very important that you evenly torque your scope ring caps. Why is that? Well, because if you're to torque your scope ring cap unevenly, your gaps are going to be uneven. So, what you want is your scope ring to have a nice even gap, okay? This circle needs to be even. Your gap here and here between the cap and the bottom half of the ring, you want that to be a nice even gap in here. Okay, we use a torque wrench to help with that, but you want to torque them evenly, use a cross pattern, that kind of thing. So, why is that so important? Not only do you keep the tension even on both sides, it keeps the scope straight by not canting it to the side, by pulling it left or right. It keeps it from denting the scope tube and damaging your expensive optic. Vortex recommends 18 inch-pounds. You can go a little more than that with no damage that I've seen, as long as you're using good rings. I've seen guys go up to 25 inch-pounds if the rings are lapped, but right now I went with the factory recommended torque spec just because I went with a set of Warren rings, and they're matched rings, they're good set of rings, but I just went with the recommended torque spec right now because I got a nice fit and I see it satisfactory for me, so I just left it be. The cross bolts on your scope rings. Now these particular ones have a 1/2 inch nut. The ones with a 1/2 inch nut are usually higher torque spec. These are 65 inch-pound. You want them super tight. You don't want them loosening up or moving. It's important that you push forward on the rail. With the ring on the rail, it's important that you push that forward as you tighten it down. Like, you can hand tighten it to hold it there and then torque it, but it's important that you push forward, because what happens is if you don't push it forward when you torque it, it could possibly creep up the rail when the rifle recoils, so that's going to change your point of impact and your zero. Scope base screws. These would be the screws holding your scope base to the action. I went with 25 inch-pounds. Night Force recommends 22. I went to 25 just for simplicity, to keep it easy. So that's the reasoning behind why we use a torque wrench. It's also why we keep track of our torque values. So keep that in mind. Make yourself a sheet. Keep it with your toolkit. I'm actually going to write this on a smaller card and put it in here with my toolkit that I carry with the rifle. But just wanted to share that as well. Well, y'all, that's all I got for you tonight. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop me a comment. I will be posting in the description a full list with links to where you can get all these parts that I used so far. And on our next episode, we're going to go ahead and sight in the rifle and see what kind of groups we get out of it, and then start addressing from there on how to improve on our accuracy and start walking it out to some distance. So stay tuned, more coming for you. Thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, please hit that like and subscribe button. Have a great day.